You won't believe how this ends. What happens when unstoppable strength meets unmatched speed? Stick around, because this legendary showdown rewrites everything you thought you knew about fighting. I've spent years breaking down combat footage, interviewing martial arts historians, and studying biomechanics to bring you the most detailed breakdowns on iconic matchups. This might just be the most controversial yet. Let's set the stage. It's the late 80s. The world is hungry for spectacle. In one corner, you've got Hulk Hogan, the American icon, the symbol of brute force and charisma, 6 feet 7 inches, 300 pounds of raw muscle. In the other, Bruce Lee, the dragon himself. Small in stature, yes, but faster than lightning and sharper than any blade. A man who turned philosophy into punches and changed martial arts forever. But what happens when a storm of muscle collides with a whisper of wind that can cut through steel? This wasn't just a fight, it was a statement. The arena was electric. Hogan stomped in, all energy and flexing fury, waving the American flag, crowd roaring like thunder. Bruce Lee? Silent. Calm. He walked in like he had nothing to prove, but everything to show. Let's talk strength. Hulk Hogan, the Titan. Unmatched power. Hogan could lift over 300 pounds like it was a towel. His leg drop had ended countless careers. Psychological warfare. That voice, the presence, the aura, it rattled even the toughest opponents. Stamina for his size. He could go 10 rounds without slowing down. Weaknesses. Speed. Hogan's strikes, while deadly, often left him open. Predictability. Years of wrestling made his moves easy to read for a seasoned fighter. Ground game. Outside the ropes, he lacked finesse. But here's where it gets interesting, because if Hogan was a tank, Bruce Lee was a sniper. Bell rings. Hogan charges in with a roar, swinging wide with a crushing hook. Lee dodges it like a breeze dancing around a storm. The crowd gasps. Speed. He could hit you 5 times before you realized the first one landed. Precision. Every strike had intent, nothing wasted. Adaptability. Lee didn't believe in styles, he believed in what worked. Size. Let's be real, he gave up nearly 130 pounds. Durability. One clean shot from Hogan could end the fight. Close quarters with grapplers posed a real threat. So how do you stop a human freight train with a whisper? Bruce had a plan, and it didn't involve brute force. Lee didn't just fight bodies, he fought minds. He circled, analyzing, throwing probing strikes. Hogan got frustrated. You could see it. His swings got wider, slower, angrier. Lee stayed calm. This wasn't a brawl, it was chess. At one point, Hogan grabbed Lee's arm and tried to swing him overhead. But Lee twisted midair, landing like a cat, planting a precise strike to Hogan's ribs. You could hear the thud. That was the first crack. And cracks in Titans? They grow fast when pressure is relentless. Midway through, Hogan caught Lee with a shoulder rush. The dragon hit the mat hard. The crowd held its breath. For a moment, it looked like the end. But that's where Bruce shined, under pressure. As Hogan reached down, Lee locked in an arm trap, using Hogan's weight against him. A blur of motion later, Hogan was face down, gasping. This was the brilliance of Lee. He didn't resist force. He redirected it. It wasn't strength that turned the tide, it was strategy. Fatigue started creeping into Hogan's limbs. That much muscle needs oxygen, and Bruce had made him swing and miss over and over. Lee, on the other hand, moved like he just started warming up. In the final exchange, Bruce ducked a wild swing, stepped in, and delivered a rapid-fire combo. Liver shot, solar plexus jab, spinning back kick. Hogan staggered, knees wobbling. One final roundhouse kick to the temple, and the Titan fell. Silence. Then a roar, not for power, but for mastery. In the end, Bruce Lee won, not because he was stronger, but because he was smarter. He used precision over power, calm over chaos. He didn't fight Hulk Hogan's fight, he made Hogan fight his. It was a classic lesson, muscles can break bones, but technique breaks limits. Hogan stood up after the match and hugged Bruce. No trash talk. Just respect. Because that's what real warriors do. This wasn't a fantasy. It was a clash of philosophies. And in the end, the mind won over muscle. Bruce Lee showed the world that being small doesn't mean being weak, and that the greatest weapon in any fight isn't in your fists, but in your mind. So the next time someone tells you size is everything, show them this story. Would you want to see Bruce Lee face off against someone else? Who's next?